Hello and welcome to a brand new flight report from me in these strange times where traveling has for many been put to a halt due to the horrific pandemic ravaging the entire world. My first flight since the pandemic found its temporary epicenter in Europe was already a couple of days ago, exactly 5 months after my last flight in February. You can find it down in the description and have a look at how it was flying EasyJet on the Bristol to Edinburgh route. This time, I'm back to flying Ryanair, approximately 6 months since I last flew it. I hadn't booked a flight on the Irish low coaster since January, when I took advantage of cheap fares from Manchester to fly to Gothenburg and explore this lovely Swedish city along with Oslo over the course of a few days. Today, I'm flying to Edinburgh-Venice in what is my return to my home country after 10 months since I last was in Italy. This marks the longest time that I've been abroad. Edinburgh Airport is definitely different compared to how I remembered it from pre-Covid times. It's not the first time for me to fly the Edinburgh-Venice route, as I flew it already in 2017, although at the time the destination was the secondary airport of Venice, the one in Treviso, which is going to be closed until the end of the summer now. Nevertheless, the airport here in Edinburgh is today much emptier than I remembered, with new lines and stickers everywhere on the floor to ensure social distancing for obvious reasons. When I first landed in Edinburgh 3 days ago, I noticed the 3 Jet2 aircrafts sitting on the tarmac. They're still there, untouched, a sign of the deep crisis of the travel industry. Masks are of course mandatory across the entire premises of the airport. You can't even sit down for the usual pre-flight pint at Wetherspoons, as it is still closed, although pubs were allowed to reopen in Scotland 5 days ago. The main part of the terminal parallel to the runway is mostly empty, with just single aircraft sitting at those gates. Most Ryanair airplanes are parked at the gates of the most remote area of the airport, towards the east side.
Failure to board within the next few moments will result in any check bags being uploaded and your travel denied.
There are also a couple of British Airways planes connecting the capital of Scotland to 3 airports of the capital of the UK, namely London City, Heathrow and Gatwick. My gate is number 14. Although Ryanair is calling passengers all over the airport threatening last call warnings, as I arrive at the gate there is still quite a long queue to get boarding passes checked. The aircraft taking me back to Italy today is a standard 14-year-old 737-800 delivered to Ryanair brand new in 2005. It is currently based in Edinburgh, from where it frequently flies to destinations all over Europe. While the flight from Bristol to Edinburgh from a couple of days ago was mostly empty, capacity is today much better, with most seats taken. I managed to get a window seat on a row shared with only one other passenger sitting on the aisle. Overall, I'd say the flight is about to take off at 2/3 capacity. The weather is kind enough to guarantee pretty nice views upon taking off. As we ascend towards the clouds, the estuary of the Forth and the other rivers on the shore of which Edinburgh is located become visible. You can also see the Forth Bridge, the Forth Road Bridge and the Queen's Ferry crossing linking North and South Queen's Ferry. A few minutes later, we penetrated the clouds only to emerge over a splendid sea of snow white.
No toilets are fitted with smoke detector. If you wish to use the toilet, we ask you.
Not long after taking off, we are approaching the coast of continental Europe. The route from Edinburgh to Italy doesn't apparently travel through France going over the Channel, but takes a faster route crossing the North Sea into the Netherlands, going down Germany and entering Italy via Austria. At almost 3 hours, it's not the quickest flight you can jump on across Europe, but that gave me the chance to catch up on the last season of Better Call Saul.
Earphones or even twice station of cosmetics.
Not even a pandemic discourages Ryanair from desperately overselling their products under the pretense of duty-free. Anyways, the flight continues offering spectacular views as we pass over the white peaks of the Alps. The sun has just set by the time we approach the meeting point of the Adriatic Sea, with the water making up the notorious Venice lagoon. Even if Marco Polo Airport is the airport closest to my hometown, I haven't landed there too many times because of other airports in the area serving much more interesting and especially cheaper destinations. But landing there is always a treat. Remember to always take the window seat on the right side of the plane when landing in Venice. You'll get a clear view of the main island of Venice connected to the mainland by the Liberty Bridge.
Ryanair. Last year, over 90% of our flights arrived on time. We hope you enjoyed yours, and we look forward to welcoming you on board again soon. Ryanair. Low fares, made simple.
Whilst taxiing to the gate, I noticed that Venice Airport was emptier than I remembered too. I can however see a couple of Alitalia's A330s in the newest livery. Flying in from the UK, that meant that I didn't have to undertake any COVID tests, nor undergo any quarantine upon landing in Italy. However, I had to go through passport control, and that did take very long indeed for some reason. The only flights requiring passport control at the time were my flight from Edinburgh and an EasyJet flight from London Gatwick, so I just couldn't understand. The officer kindly asked me to take off the mask for a couple of seconds before finally letting me in. Thank you very much for joining me on this flight from Edinburgh to Venice today. If you liked the video, please consider giving me a thumbs up and subscribing. Bye!